In politics, strategy often shifts, but rarely this abruptly. After spending millions to convince their voters that mailing in ballots is safe and even essential, Republican leaders now face a stunning about-face from the party's standard-bearer. Not long ago, the Republican National Committee was all in on early and absentee voting. By 2023, GOP strategists had watched Democrats rack up comfortable pre-election day margins for years and concluded they had to play the same game. The result was Bank Your Vote, a multi-million-dollar push to normalize mail and early voting among Republicans. Every state got its own website. Materials appeared in 16 languages, and the pitch was simple. Lock in Republican votes early so nothing, work, weather, or a long line, could erase them on Election Day. Even former President Donald Trump, who had spent 2020 railing against mail ballots, recorded a video for the campaign. He asked supporters to commit to voting early, and his team rolled out a website called swampthevoteusa.com, promoting all voting methods, mail, early in person, and Election Day. All of that collapsed on Monday, August 18, 2025. Trump declared he would lead a movement to get rid of mail-in ballots and electronic voting machines before the 2026 midterms. He said the best lawyers in the country were drafting an executive order to ban both, labeling mail voting corrupt. The arguments behind this reversal haven't changed. Trump still claims, without evidence, that widespread fraud taints mail ballots, and even asserted the United States is the only country in the world that uses mail-in voting. In fact, dozens of democracies use postal voting, and domestic studies have repeatedly found fraud to be minimal. The legal problem is just as familiar. The Constitution gives states, not the White House, primary control over how elections are run. Congress can set nationwide rules, but a president can't override state laws with an executive order. Trump now claims states are merely an agent of the federal government and must fall in line, a theory that collides with decades of conservative arguments for states' rights and would almost certainly trigger immediate lawsuits from both blue and red states. Inside the GOP, the whiplash is intense. Party committees spent the past year telling loyal voters, relax, mail ballots are secure. Now, the party's most powerful voice calls the very same ballots illegitimate. Operatives who designed the Bank Your Vote program have to decide whether to defend their own work or echo Trump's new demand to scrap it. For voters, the message is even murkier. First, mail ballots were dangerous. Then, they were patriotic. Now, they're corrupt again. Confusion depresses turnout, and Republicans can't afford more self-inflicted losses in tight races. Beyond partisan math, critics warn the proposal strikes at basic access to the ballot box. Millions rely on absentee voting, deployed service members, citizens overseas, seniors, people with disabilities, parents juggling childcare. Scrapping mail ballots would make voting harder for each of them without solving a problem that evidence shows is vanishingly small. So where does this leave the party and the country heading into 2026? Republicans face a public split. Either they follow their data-driven plan to bank votes early, or they follow Trump's push to ban the method entirely. Both paths can't coexist. States are almost certain to fight any executive order that infringes on their election authority, setting up a court battle that could stretch well past Election Day. The broader electorate risks another cycle dominated by misinformation about how voting works, eroding trust in outcomes before ballots are even counted. A year ago, the GOP invested millions to reassure its own voters. Now its leader promises to pull the rug out from under that effort. Whether the party doubles down on its original strategy or rallies behind Trump's new crusade will shape not just Republican chances in 2026, but the rules under which all Americans cast their ballots.